Hey y'all, what's up? This is Rosie, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about why I write stories based on musicians. Yeah, I write stories based on musicians. So here's my story. Back in high school, I started writing stories to kind of give myself comfort. I was bullied, and I would escape into my head a lot. And one of the ways that I did that was by writing stories of myself getting revenge on the people that I hated. One of the stories I have recently restarted and just took a new angle with it. And a lot of my male main characters are based on my crushes. I won't say who they are. I don't want to reveal my muses, but yeah. So that's why I choose musicians to write about rather than regular people, because in high school and in real life I rarely find anybody that I think is crush worthy or worth putting in stories unless they're in my actual family or unless I know them. The female main characters are based on myself and a couple of my friends. I have one or two stories where I've used my friends, and sometimes I can just make up a character on the fly, a female character. But for the most part, I use people I know as MCs. And the musicians, I don't know, I can just look at them and base a lot of what happens in the stories off of things I've read about them. And sometimes I will mesh characters together. What that means is I will take other muses of mine and mix them up with my main muses, so that even though you can still sometimes tell who the male main character is based on, you can never really know for sure because I put elements of someone else with him, as to not make it too obvious. But I don't know, just musicians are just so sexy to me, and they make great romance characters for some reason. I don't know. And I know that there are other people who have done this, but I just like making rock and roll erotica, and that's what I call it. That's what I call my genre, is rock and roll erotica. And I also like to play around with nationalities too. Like, I have some of my muses, or at least one of them, sometimes I will make him indigenous, sometimes he'll be Greek, and other times he will be Latino. But no matter what nationality or ethnicity I make him, it is always him. It's always going to be him, because he's the only one I see. And that just makes it better for me. I research to make sure I get elements of the story right and elements of their cultures right, because I don't want to be disrespectful. So I just research and look up different names and surnames and things that happen, like say during a Greek wedding. I'll research what happens during a Greek wedding, and I'll put that in the story. For Cherokee I've done that for Cherokee weddings, and other indigenous cultures. And I just find it very interesting, just something fun to do. And I hope that's not being disrespectful to these cultures, but it's just something that was fun for me. And so yeah, ever since high school, it's just something that I played around with and enjoyed. And that's what makes writing fun for me, is that I can go deep into my fantasies and make these stories come out on paper and not just keep them in my head, because for me these stories are just too good to keep to myself, and I just cannot wait to share them with the world. And I keep going over them and adding more to them, hoping to add more depth and character to the stories as to make them more interesting, because I don't want my stories to be just sex stories. Some of my stories don't even really have sex in them. They have sensuality in them, but not like an actual sex scene, or a very detailed one at least. But I don't want to be just a sex writer. I want to be a romance writer. So I try to add more to the stories to make them more interesting. Because as I said, I don't want to be just a sex writer. Like, for instance, in my stories, I will put sex in the stories because it's a way for me to... I use that as an element to show that these characters have gotten past something, or that they're growing in some way, or that a part of them has opened up to allowing sensuality in our lives. Like, I don't put the sex in there just for the sake of putting sex. Now in one story I may have done that, I don't know, but for me to put sex in a story, it has to have some kind of meaning. And oh gosh, it's hard to explain, but I want it to be more than just the sex that people see when they see these stories, when they read these stories. And I'm hoping that I've achieved that. I'm hoping that I have achieved making these stories interesting enough for people to want to read, to where even if they don't want to read the sensual parts of the stories, they will look at it and say, well, the rest of the story is pretty good. You know, that's what I want to get to. That's why I decided to add on to Angel, because one of the things that my friend said to me when she critiqued my story was that she called me a porn writer, and that really hurt. In essence, I guess that's what erotica can be, but at the same time, I don't feel that that's what I am. Even though some people call it smut, I think it's more endearing to call it erotica, because that's what it is. I don't like for people to say that it's smut or that it's porn, because my stories, I like for it to be more than that. I want people to see past just the sex and see that there is a reason for the sex to be in the stories. So yeah, that's part of the character of my writing, I guess. And so each day I'm trying to grow and make it better, and I can't wait to get on the level to hearing people call me their favorite writers or their favorite author. But until that day comes, you guys, just bear with me, okay? But anyways, I'm gonna go here. Thank you so much for wasting time with me and listening to me ramble on and on about nothing. And I hope to see y'all on the next upload. I love you guys very, very much. Give me a like, subscribe, and share. It would mean so much to me. I hope to see y'all on the next upload, and bye for now.